Hey, how's it going? This is James P. White, and I am from the Bald and Short of It podcast, and I am with none other than Chris Mooney. Do you see how I kind of deleted the whole thing from 95.7 Cruise FM? I've been working on that. Actually, that's been my week, is I've been trying to, when I practice my intro, not saying 95.7 Cruise FM, because actually when I started at Cruise, for the first couple weeks, I was saying, or couple months, I was saying from the bear. So it's a transition. So I am from the Bald and Short of It podcast, and so are you, Chris Mooney. I'm short, he's bald, and we don't need to show the people. And for people who don't know, first of all, hey Mooney, how's it going?
How's it going, buddy? It's good to see you. Actually, in person, we'll get to that, I suppose. But
Yeah,
how many hours did you spend in the mirror practicing that you're from the Ball Shore of the podcast?
I wasn't practicing in the mirror. I was actually practicing in person. Just on like not in the mirror, like practicing my intro on like a camera. So like selfie
Wow.
videos. I don't have a life. Okay, that's been most
You
of my week.
probably have a lot of selfie videos, considering how much you like to talk about yourself. Every day you produce a life of Jimmy.
Uh,
You just call the Short of It podcast.
you know what I'm starting to learn, and I just learned it right now. I actually prefer doing the Bald and Short of It podcast in different locations because being next to you when doing it actually is, I'm already done. Like, and we haven't even started the podcast yet. Um, and for those of you who don't know, we are live on location. We are trying this for the first time. We're at one of our favorite spots. It's Sherbrooke Pub. It's on 118th Avenue and on, I don't know, what is that? St. Albert Trail.
St. Albert
It's
Trail one way and Grove Road the other. It's basically the traffic circle on 118th as you're heading towards St. Albert from Grove or westbound. It's the north side of that traffic circle, and it's probably my favorite saloon in Edmonton. I love this place. Lots of people say bar's a bar, but it's the people. And Janet, who owns it, she's owned it. I'm looking right now at the 10-year sign that they gave us last year. So she's had this place 11 years, and she's just a fantastic lady, great staff. Lots of family work here, and she does a Sunday dinner every Sunday. Everyone's so hospitable. Janet's really friendly. Staff's really friendly. My band's played here a bunch of times. In fact, last year we played the 10-year anniversary of Janet's ownership. They have karaoke every Fridays and Saturdays. They have a bunch of regulars. They call themselves the Sherbrooke Choir. It's a really real sense of community here and really nice people. And I would encourage anybody who's looking to go for a pint and just even by yourself and chat with folks to come down. I promise you'll be met with a really nice environment and good people. And we're not getting paid to say that. If we came here today, and why don't you tell them, Jimmy,
but
how we ended up here today?
you know what? Because we have been talking since we actually, planned this podcast right from day one. We said, you know what, we want to do some live on location. We don't want to just be, just sitting in our living rooms talking to ourselves. Um, so we wanted to give this a try, see if our setup is actually working, and come here. I love this place. When I was with Cruise FM, we did a dive bar bracket, and they were in the top five of the bracket. We talked about them on air, and we came here for lunch a couple of times. And then myself, I actually really fell in love with the place for two reasons. One, because I started coming here with you, watching the hockey games during playoffs, just before. It was actually here that we actually originally started talking about doing a podcast by yourself and with regulars, and they'd be, oh yeah, we'll watch that, we'll do that. So we're like, hey, we might get an audience. Um, but one thing I really love about this place is right next to one of my favorite liquor stores, which is Sherbrooke Liquor. but because that place you can get any craft beer or any like booze or anything from Sherbrooke. It's my favorite place to go. But I love this place. Great food. It's you know, and what's the one thing I really love about this place is they're very tolerant of people like yourself, Chris, because everybody knows, like everybody I've talked to here knows you're an asshole, and and when I pick on you they join in. Like it's funny. It doesn't matter where I go, whether I'm hanging out with your friends that are now our friends, but we all gang up on you. I come here and regulars help me gang up on you. And it's so much fun coming here because everybody makes you feel like you're welcome. Like it's even if you're not a regular, they still treat you like, you know, you're part of the group. I really love this place, and I'm really glad we're here. And it was your idea. You're like, hey, I want to go to Sherbrooke. Let's do the podcast from there. But then your first idea is maybe I should just go there by myself, and you could stay home. And then I'm like, forget that noise.
Like I'll fill your water bowl.
I'm like, forget that noise. If we're gonna do our podcast live on location, it's not gonna be because like with you here and me at home. Like that's
Yeah, no, yeah. It's rare that I come here without inviting you, anyways. But the whole thing was, I just thought, I didn't do much this weekend, and I thought, oh, I'd get out of the house. It's a nice night. There's no baseball, no football yet on Monday night, so it's not going to be packed. I won't be an intrusion if I sat in the corner with my laptop. And then I mentioned that to Jimmy, and then it wasn't a plan. And then it was kind of like, okay, let's see how it goes, and then if it works, we'll do something with a little more notice, and maybe people come by or whatever. But I just know how hospitable Janet is, and I went to talk to her when we got here, and she was just like, "Oh, sure, whatever," and then yeah, Jimmy kind of invited himself, so you know, whatever. I don't get the discount now, but anyway, now Jimmy's here. The two of us are here. First time together doing it. Um, so
uh, it. This might be the last time we are do. So if we do live on location going forward, it's only going to be one of us live on location. The other one is going to be at their house. So more than likely it'll be me live on location because everybody loves me because I'm the radio superstar, and I'm the nice guy, and I'm funny, I'm approachable, I have hair, and people are jealous of my hair, and then
oh my
and then we got Mooney, and who if you talk to people away from him, they know he's an asshole. So
yeah, okay. Like that's no way to talk to the talent, Jimmy. Breakout star of the Bald Short podcast.
the star, you keep saying the star. How many years have you been in radio?
And I think that's what bothers you is that, like, you've built this big career in radio and stuff, and you've come a long way in that format. And then this young upstart comes along and, just basically shows you up. You're marginalized now. And I understand your age, and so that's why I kind of take it when you mouth off about me and stuff. Like, water off a duck's back. I'm used to it, you know. Like, you don't excel in life without the naysayers, and so it's expected, Jimmy.
But so just so you know, everybody, starting next week, we are going to be bringing in mutual friends of Chris Mooney and myself on talking about who do they actually come to the podcast and listen. Chris Mooney or none other than Jimmy, who's a professional wrestler, who's a former radio star. He's a professional leprechaun. He's played an elf at Christmas, done so many things. And what has Mooney done? he went to university, got some kind of stupid degree, and he sells real estate. So
Yeah.
we're gonna find out who they actually listen to. Is it me or is it that? Like we're gonna find out. Coming
Speak,
soon to a podcast near you.
entertainment impresario James P. White. Actually, the truth is, the reason that I kind of manipulated Jimmy into coming here is kind of like a sort of a half intervention because, fella gets into the vodka a little bit and, maybe takes a bite out of his reputation, the way he handles things. So, the idea being, well, I don't have pro serve. I'm not licensed to issue liquor, but the good people here will, give them the polite nod, go, maybe Jimmy, slow down on the liquor. So
But
they're helping me. They're here to help me.
but I don't know if they're really helping you because as I'm calling you an asshole and they're overhearing me, they're all laughing. So again, I think it's a delusion that you're under. But let's actually get into the actual podcast right now. Again, we're at
Yeah,
Sherbrooke
you got
Pub
it.
on St. Albert Trail and 118. It's a cool place to come. And let's get into talking about. Let's start about our week. Mooney, let's start with you. Have you had a more interesting week than me staring at a camera practicing my intro?
No, you did some other things. You edited the last one, and I know how hard you work, but no, I have some lots of professional stuff, but I won't get bore people with that. I got a $3.9 million listing on Friday, and I don't want to bore anybody, but man, with the way the market's been, normally a fella would think, oh wow, that's great, I got this opportunity, and I always feel that way. Don't get me wrong, but I just know that it's not going to happen fast selling it, and you're basically just inviting stress because obviously I want to do right by people that trust me, and sometimes the market doesn't cooperate. So anyway, that's the good stuff and sort of bad stuff. Um, I spent some time with my sister and brother-in-law on Friday, and it was fantastic. We went for a nice dinner impromptu, and then very quickly ran out of steam the rest of the weekend on account of the weekend I had last week with all the Stones. But yeah, no, that's about it for me to report. Um, yeah, but how about you, pal? Like, are you wrapping the shifts or what?
I really haven't didn't do a whole lot this week. Like I worked. I've been, looking for a job. I've been trying to find, more, you know, more lucrative, income rather than, less than 8 hours a week. And so, yes, I'm looking for another job. I'm good at telemarketing. I've been, doing stuff like that. I've done video editing for people. I've done podcast editing, not as much of recording. Again, we've talked about this before. Our lost podcast was because my computer didn't save it because it was probably something that I did wrong. And if people know that, yes, sometimes in my world, technology goes sideways. So, but when editing, I'm great at editing. I've, you know, I'm so good at editing. I even make Mooney sound good, and it's really hard to do.
It's
But
a daunting task, folks.
it is a daunting task. He thinks he's the talent, and the only reason why he's the talent is because he's bald. And half the podcast is the bald and short of him. So I can replace him with any bald guy, and I know a few. And so, you know, let that be known. If you show up on the Bald and Short of It podcast and you don't see that face, it's because I've had enough and went, okay, oh,
I'm just saying, like I'm thinking, like next week, folks, tune in. There might be a new bald guy.
there's,
They're easier to find than midgets.
see, midgets are harder to find than bald guys. Just saying. but that's, but yeah, my week was okay. And I've been working on some video projects of my own, planning some stuff. I've always have Pink Shirt Day on my mind, and getting my head together for the fact that I'm in Dunk Tank this week.
Hold on,
This
I really want you to talk about that, but I don't want to get too far before what I feel I should say there needs to be mentioned so people sort of stay on topic. Anyways, um, when you were in radio, like it blew my mind how many hours you worked, like off the clock, editing all the content, and we're talking like every day. So like I know you put down some hours working on our thing here, but like when you were on radio, like dude, like it was hard to hang out with you, and and you think about how much time and effort and care actually like give a fuckiness that you put into that. Um, I hate giving you compliments the way you come after me, but I have a lot of respect for you. So when you talk about your qualifications, yeah, don't forget to mention that you pretty much produced a radio show for however many years you were doing it.
see See, the thing is, though, is we're paid salary. Our show itself is only like 5 hours a week or 5 hours a day, and we get our salary is based on 8 plus. And then we get paid extra for live on locations and stuff like that. But yeah, we did a lot of prep, like again, you know, coming up with notes, stuff to talk about, so that we always look to make sure that we have the correct facts when we're telling someone. So rather than going, oh yeah, there's a golf tournament sometime. Um, yeah, just look for it. So we always make sure that we have the details. We always, and then I get all the video editing and stuff like that for our YouTube channel and all that kind of stuff. But the thing is there was a lot of work behind the scenes, but I miss it. I loved working in radios. Like there were days that we were working and then we'd be on location somewhere at night. And I loved it. It's like radio, like if I could get back into radio, I in a heartbeat, I would. But it's funny how that works. That
Yeah, I was
you
waving.
don't always get to keep the job you love, and it sucks.
Jimmy, I gave you what I like to think is a compliment, and I don't know why you didn't just take the W, but you had to go on for 5 minutes about Jimmy. It's the
Uh,
Ball Podcast.
it's it happens, okay? Just like you'll you'll have to get over it someday.
Yeah,
Um,
I've been through it enough. I obviously have come to accept it.
okay, so anything else you want to share about your week?
No, 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 no,
Okay, anything you want to make fun of about my week?
no, no. I think
Okay,
you've done it all, buddy.
so we're good about our week. So
How's the adulting coming along?
I'm still learning, okay? I'm still learning. Um, you know, back when I was on the radio, I had these guys in my ears just kind of, you know, you know, guiding me. Hey, have you done this lately? House, all these different adulting things. And I hate that shit. Like, I much, but because, every once in a while I wake up and I go, you know what? I'm really not a teenager. I should actually do something, you know, productive. And then, like today, I had to do laundry. And if you know anything about being a midget, which you probably don't, doing laundry is an extreme chore. Have I talked about that on this podcast?
Mm-mm.
It's my least favorite adulting thing is doing laundry. Okay, because the laundry machine at my apartment building is top load. And for those of you who don't know this, I'm 4 feet tall. So the top of the machine goes to my chin. So reaching inside to get the stuff is a bit of a chore. So, of course I could dump the stuff in, no problem. But then I have a system when I have to transfer it from the washing machine to the dryer. It involves a ladder,
Oh shit! Yeah.
a two-step ladder, and a Swiffer duster. Um, and I can see the look on your face. You're like, Swiffer duster. What does he need a Swiffer duster for? Okay, it's an extendable stick.
I was
So
thinking of like a hockey stick sawed off at about a foot and a half.
no,
You know what
no,
I mean?
it's one of those
No,
extendable
I know.
Swift.
No, I know what a dude. I know what a Swiffer duster is. I'm saying that if you had like a hot, I got one in my garage. I could saw off for you, but it's got the blade, and you can get in there. Like that might be easier. Not for nothing.
But it's too long. I only need like 2.5 feet.
Yeah, what I'm
I
saying.
like, but a
If you can
hockey
cut it,
stick is
it
way
looks
too
like
long,
fucking,
dude.
that gets
Okay,
sawed.
okay,
You dummy.
okay. Listen, George. You've never been uh, a midget, so don't tell a
Yeah,
midget how we're supposed to do stuff.
I'm
Um,
trying to be helpful. You fucking
yeah,
jerk.
you're not. Um, so
Don't piss off the talent.
I'm just waiting for you to quit. I can find 10 other bald people. Okay, so
I'm looking at two over here. Yeah, fair fucks.
and they actually look more entertaining than you. Um, but getting back to it, so what I do is I have to stand on the ladder, and then I can reach some of the stuff on top by reaching in. But some of the time, my feet are kind of propelled up in the air because I'm reaching. So I'm kind of resting my weight on my gut, reaching down in, and then I toss it in, and then and then I use the stick to reach the stuff in the bottom, especially the socks. And I hate it. Like sometimes they transfer like a load from the washer to the dryer takes me up to 10 minutes, and it's not fun. And so
No.
I try to limit the amount that I do, but with my current job, I are request like I have to wear black pants, black shirts. And I only have so many. So you still have to wash them. So I've been doing laundry more often in the last 3 months than I have in the last 8 years living in that apartment. Um,
No.
but so when I talk about adulting, there's the adult stuff that I don't like to do because it takes longer and I go, I wish someone could just come here and do my laundry for me. Um, and if you want to do my laundry for me, I can. You can find me on Facebook. It's at James Patrick White at the it's yeah just it's James Patrick White on Facebook. You can find me there. Shoot me a message and feel free. You can do my laundry. I will pay you. But yes, if you want to do my laundry, message me today.
Something else occurred to me in your laundry diatribe, and that's that. Like in my experience, aren't most top load laundries also like top load machines? Don't they also have the knobs in the back? So like you lift the lid, the knobs are like that part, or is that like I mean I don't know every laundry machine made, but do you have to like manage that too?
No, I actually did not hear what you said. Sorry, you're kind of echoing right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now, or is it okay?
Yeah, you're okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, it's like those laundry machines, the top loaded, like in the back is where they have all the dials that you turn. Where you turn
Oh,
the cycles. Is that in the back too? At the
yeah,
top?
if they're in the back, and that's another thing I use the stick for is to press the buttons. So, like, dude, hey, you can shake your head.
No, I'm empathizing. Yeah, it sucks.
No, but it's, dude, like I understand. Like for you, you say, okay. Yeah, it sucks that you have to do that. But even if you had a front load washer, you still have the dials and all that stuff in the back. The dryers in the
No,
back,
everything.
everything's in the back.
Not mine. I get the front load washer dryer, and you just have the thing. I'll show
Oh,
you, man.
because it's right up at, like everything's right up front.
Yeah, and you want to grab your shit, you just hop in and pull it out.
Okay, so folks, we're getting back into this laundry thing again. So, how many people think I should pay Mooney to do my laundry? Please, we will do a tally, or if I should just go to his house and do my laundry. Uh, the,
You can come. You can come to my house and do your laundry anytime. It would be actually it would be a treat for you. I'm sure it'd save you a lot of time. My time's valuable too, and I don't particularly like doing laundry, so you can do yours and mine. How about that? This is like that
okay,
side.
I went from somebody else doing my laundry to me going to their house and doing their laundry. Bite me, okay, with a capital bite and a capital me. Um,
You don't have to. You don't have to pay. It's free and it's easy. It'll be a treat for you. You could do your laundry and my laundry in probably half the time it takes you to do yours. So
but do you actually do your laundry, or does your woman do
no,
your laundry?
I do my own laundry. And
Okay,
you know what? You could
next time I'm over, I'm going to ask it. I'm going to ask your.
fucking go ahead. I'm telling you, I do. Like, don't come after me, bro. Like, the other thing is, you can come to my house, do the loads, do yours, do mine. I'll put a chair out front of the porch for you to sit in while you wait, and I'll find a way for someone to let you know when the cycles are done. I think this could work out really nice. That's a
Yeah,
good idea, brother.
this could be a lucrative business. Um, I come over, do my laundry, and you pay me to do yours. Um, but and I'll supply my own detergent, because I'm that guy. I don't expect things out of other people, but when people help you and then they expect something in return, that's called being a Mooney. Um, but I
I'm the
digress.
talent. You've digressed a lot, my friend.
I know because I have to kind of control things. Now let's get into a slightly different topic. Uh, let's get into, are you a hugger? That's been on, and we've been talking about this for a while because, like growing up, my family weren't huggers. My dad really wasn't a hugger, at least for us boys, because you know, it's kind of weird boys hugging boys. They're like one of those, like, the as you're growing up in the '70s, that's kind of the thing. So, but I I'm not a hugger either, but I hug really close friends, especially if they are huggers. Like I have groups that of friends that we hang out, that, like, I can't say no to them hugging me. It's like lady friends and stuff. Even some of my friends from the Monster Pro Wrestling, they all like to hug. I don't, but I'm not uncomfortable hugging. Like, especially if it's a casual hug, not like a, let's rub really close. Hey, Jimmy, let's hug, and then my face is in their nuts, and like I'm not into that hugging, but it's I are you a hugger? Like, do you?
That's a really good question. As far as background goes, I'm probably a little different. Like, my dad was a hugger, um, uh, but he grew up like an only child, and his pop died when he was two. So I won't get into all that. But my mom actually was not a hugger. Um, she's warmed up a little bit as we've all gotten older, but there's no way that my sisters and I would ever think that anybody loves us more in the world than our mom, just through her actions and her words. but she wasn't a hugger or a kisser or an "I love you" type. Um, so I'm kind of agnostic on the hugging thing. Although as a man, one would think that it's maybe a little bit unmanly, but I would like to think that I'm not so much a hugger. But if you talk to pretty much everybody, I know I am. And it's changed over the years. Like I used to hate huggers, and then yeah, when you see somebody and you got that awkward moment, maybe you haven't seen them in a few weeks, and you're like, hey, you don't want to do the whole dance. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll just give you a hug. And obviously, I don't hug everybody, but if you're close to me and I'm giving you a hug, there's no excuses
No,
necessary.
and the thing is, it's like, especially for myself, like it, you grow up like my granddad wasn't a hugger, but my grandma was. My uncles weren't huggers, but my aunties were.
Well,
And
those are sorry, but those are like that's even me. Like when I was talking about whether or not I'm a hugger, I'm talking about um, I guess centuries, millennia old um, gender roles, which by the way I'm fine with. I don't mind being stoic as a man. It comes naturally to me over however many years of evolution. Um, I don't panic in troubled times. Pretty optimistic. Um, Nobody wants to go through tough times. When you do, you gotta look to see what's around the corner. No trouble with that. Those are like baked in. I think even genetic gender roles. So um, it would be like my mom's an outlier, but all your aunts and everything, that's pretty much, and my dad is too, ironically. But you know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, I know what you're saying. Um, yeah, it's just it's okay. That's like the moral of this story. It's okay to not be emotional, and it's okay to be emotional. The thing is,
100%.
it's whatever you're the most comfortable with. And I believe that's to be totally true in every sense of it. Like when it comes to, as we said, as a hugger, or sometimes, like if I get a little emotional, or I have thoughts, or whatever it is, I've written poetry because I'm emotionally moved. And some people go, well, that's kind of girly, and I'm like,
Oh, that's
no,
really
that's a totally, yeah. But again, but it's just how you react, like how your body reacts emotionally. It's a personal thing. I don't care what other people think. Like if people like again, hugging, again, any of that kind of stuff, it's it is a personal thing. As I'm not going to do the same thing you do. You're not going to do the same thing I do. I'm not going to be the same as like a guy who's trying to show that he's the man's man, the macho macho. You know, like
I
you
gotta
know
tell you, Jimmy, since I kind of um, decided to take the initiative in the hugging with my close friends. Um, I don't know if you noticed, but like I don't know, maybe about a month and a half, 2 months ago, I stopped giving you a hug because I didn't feel like I felt like I was coming after you or something. I didn't feel like it was
what, when you were trying to give me a hug.
reciprocated.
But
Yeah. We can't talk about
the thing is, dude, if you're gonna give me a hug, don't push your pelvis out and pull your hand in, like, because you lean back and reach out, and then so I'm hugging your waist, and
No, I fuck you, man. That's bullshit. You know that's bullshit.
okay, sir, no,
I'm
but
trying to get
again,
a free handy.
I'm just
No,
you're just trying to get somebody to touch it. It's just.
a free reach around. No, dude. Like
Like I, I sometimes, like, to be honest, I sometimes don't know how to react when someone is, um,
why I started just going full on hugging. Like
like I don't know how, like if like. it's like I'm not against it, but I'm I am kind of awkward.
Yeah,
Like it
yeah.
like and you know and if it does offend you, uh, I'm sorry. And if it's still you know
Oh,
it's not meant that way. It's just it's something I'm learning. Like it's not something I do all the time.
you sound like my whole evolution of this of the whole hugging issue. Like I'm saying, um, it's like with my friends, like the people that are close to me. It's like if you know, if you introduce me to your mom, as much as I'm sure I love her, like I'm not gonna hug her because I don't know her. But if you're like my
Oh,
buddy,
she won't hug you.
no,
Um, yeah,
I wouldn't expect it. But
but
like anybody that's hug worthy in my friend group, I'm gonna dispense with the man half hug,
yeah,
or like firm handshake. I'm just gonna give it and just to avoid, just to basically like fuck the awkwardness. Um, I love you. I'm giving you a hug, and then we don't have to
yeah.
go through.
No, it's like
You
it
know,
again. It's not anything towards you personally. It's just kind of
no, I know. I didn't. I never
it's
took it personally. I don't care. I don't care. Like,
okay. So um,
I don't like how you marginalized me as the star of the podcast, but that's a separate issue. I take that personally. But
when how I start the podcast by calling you bald. That's
anyway,
like you keep talking of, like you've mentioned this several times to me, both on this podcast and throughout our lives as podcastians. Um, with the fact that you say you're the talent. The only way you're the talent is because the podcast starts with the bald. And you're the only one on the podcast who doesn't have hair. And guess what? I was bald, what, a month ago, and now I have more hair than you've had in the last 20 years. So, you know, this goatee I have growing right here, this is a week's growth. A week. Like, dude, it's
anyways, whatever. I agree with you. I think it's everybody's choice. I don't want to invade anyone's personal space, nor would I ever. But I basically have a default now that I've gotten older and experienced a little more life. That if it's any question, just go in for the hug. Let's just dispense with it. And you know,
just
I think
just hug.
that's
As
my
long as
that's my
as long as the
go-to.
person that's trying to hug you is wearing clothes, it's okay.
And for the record, not once have I ever gone in for a hug with you where I have not met you at your level, eye level. So fuck you.
No, I
Right?
know. No, I never. No, okay,
I'm not gonna.
I was saying that just to give you a hard time.
It's no way to
Why?
treat the talent.
Because there's. I'm going to shoot the talent soon. Um. Okay, let's change the subject. Um. Let's get into. Let's
So
get
hang on,
into no,
hang
wait.
on.
Oh,
Just put a bow on this, Jimmy. Are you a hugger?
no.
Okay.
I I will never initiate, but I will accept hugs. Like I'm getting better at it. More from women than from guys. To be honest, I've been
So you have
I've been weirded out by hugs from guys. Um,
so you have like some work to do in the guy department.
what's that?
We have some work to do in the guy department in the hug front.
Yeah, I have to kind of figure out how to hug a man or you. Um,
That's all I needed, buddy. Thanks, man.
okay. You know what? Let's get off this topic because I'm starting to myself get creeped out.
I'm
Um,
already anticipating our hug. When we part tonight. I'm excited.
uh,
I
yeah,
think I
okay. Well, let's get into Star Wars, shall we?
Oh, great.
Because
Yeah, I've been
because
waiting for this all
actually,
night.
Star Wars 50th anniversary is coming up. So, but it's not for a while. It's, not till, um, actually the re-release is actually going to be April 30th of 2027. The reason why I'm talking about it is they're going to be doing in, especially in Hollywood, they're going to be doing where it's going to be a re-release, and some of the live members in Hollywood or in LA will be there for a question and answer period. At least so I've heard. And they're going to be talking about the original release, which was, it was actually in May of 1977. So it's been 50 years that the original Star Wars, A New Hope, came out. And, the reason why I love the show so much is they're talking about in this article that I read that on whether or not George Lucas is going to bring back the original theatrical release, because he made a bunch of changes back in the 90s on the special edition, where he did stuff with it using technology he didn't have at the time. So he brought in not Boba Fett. What's the other guy? Jabba the Hutt. They brought in him, and they had him CGI. There was a part with Greedo and Han Solo on Who Shot First. Like, there was a bunch of stuff, and they're saying, are they going to bring back the original release? He actually said in an interview he will never bring back the original release, because the because the way he did it, um, this time, is the way he wanted to do it. He just didn't have the technology at the time. Like, some of the stuff like, I saw a making of the original movie where some of the spaceships in like in in the space scenes were were basically shoes that were painted because they didn't have enough models. Like, and there was a bunch of stuff that they did that was because they didn't have the technology at the time for
Okay.
CGI
All right.
and special effects.
Okay. I want to park it there because that's an interesting discussion. But the first thing is, you said that they're gonna have like a panel with like Mark Hamill probably, and hopefully Harrison Ford and all the other fellows that were involved. And like, unfortunately, Carrie Fisher
If
too.
if they're still alive, and most of them aren't.
Yeah, and then aren't or
What's that?
are not alive or are alive.
Oh no, there's a bunch that aren't.
Okay,
So
whatever.
there's like Kenny Baker.
You
He
don't
pl-
have to
he
agree.
played he played R2D2. The guy who played the like wore the suits for Darth Vader, he's no longer alive. The guy like and acts James Earl Jones, who did the voice of Darth Vader, is no longer alive. Um, I don't know if I said it. Chewbacca isn't. Carrie Fisher isn't. So
Yeah.
there's going to be a bunch. So you're not going to have Billy D. Williams, because he wasn't in the original movie.
Is Anthony Daniels still alive?
Anthony, yes, he's still alive.
Whatever. And we don't have to go through guy by guy. I'm just asking, like, that when they do that, it's just going to be a big Disney thing. They're probably going to do a DVD, and Disney's going to get their hands on it, and it's not going to be cheap.
They when they do live stuff like that, they do very little online. They don't do it. They do not put it on their websites. They do not they do not sell the discs to it, because they want people to go there, because it costs so much money to go to these things that they don't do it. Like, when they do a Star Wars celebration, or which they do every day, or every year, or if they do like a Star Wars Day thing, they never put it online. The only stuff you see online is when fans are taking video of what's going on. That's the only stuff they see, because they don't want it. Okay, I'm not going to go because it's too expensive. And if I can see it online and actually see it, like, a lot of the stuff that they release in these things, you don't see unless you see someone that posted that was there. Hey,
But
this is coming out.
they can throw that shit on Disney Plus or whatever, and like some of the nerds like you that don't have it, I bet they all do. Yeah, it's that. But then again, like, so it'd probably be cheaper to stop Shania Twain than to go to the show. So what you're saying, or
Uh, okay, okay, we need to get back into the stalking. I stopped in mid '90s, like late '90s. I stopped wanting to. Okay, I've seen her show a couple of times. She even came to Edmonton, and I didn't even go. So, and
yeah, okay,
I could have bought a ticket.
it's
So
a
I
shot.
stopped stalking Shania Twain. But
Uh, like the other question I had in the Star Wars front was you concluded by talking about how they're going to do like a re-release of the theatrical release because George Lucas had a vision and he was limited by technology and blah blah blah. And if you downloaded it today or you streamed it, you would see the vision that George Lucas had that he amended in when? Just give the year, Jimmy. Like 2000 whatever or whatever when he got the technology. But those of us, I'll include myself in that category that went to that as mere lads. And for some guys, it's maybe their first movie and saw like the majesty of it. Um, would you prefer to see the original cut, or are you happy with
I, okay, I'm what most people call a loser. Okay, because I actually have the original version
Thank you.
on DVD. Okay, I actually have the original non special edition because I bought it when the first special edition came out on DVD. I actually have the they give the original version on, so I actually have that. I actually think I still have the original version on VHS. My I don't think my sister threw it out
I bet you did.
because she told me she didn't. Those
No,
ones,
I mean I
but
bet you have it. Like I
but
wouldn't be
yes,
surprised if
but
that
I
was worth
have the
money.
original stuff. But I would I would be okay in theater. I would love to see the original version because I never saw the original version in theater.
Oh wow, I
That would
didn't
be
know.
because it came out in '77. I was three. It's not like my parents are going to take me to the theater. Um, like I saw the special edition in theater, and that was released like mid '90s. But you know, I would love to see the original in theater. That's been my thought. So yes, I would. And I would definitely be able to tell the difference between the original and the special edition. There's a bunch of things that were changed.
Was
There's
it-
like,
Yeah, like I mean, you would be able to tell a difference, but there's another angle to that too. Um, like technically, George Lucas doesn't really have any say over that. Like Disney might decide to do that. Like, one thing that I don't
yeah,
want to get.
actually, no, that's not true.
What is this?
Because
Sometimes it is.
the thing is because they bought the rights to it, and when in the contract, he has the rights to the original version. They have the rights to the special edition. So if he doesn't want it in theaters, it's not going in theaters.
But that sounds like
He has the rights to that, and that was part, like there was like a um you know fine prints, whatever.
yes.
So so for them to get it, he has to give it to them.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's why he held on to it because I imagine if he entered into some sort of distributorship agreement or something with their theater network in the states or whatever, and put it out that he'd be in court for a long time because he might have the control over it, but he doesn't have control over making money off it or something. We won't get into contract law here, but
Yeah.
I I'm actually digressing uh, with your permission, Jimmy. Like um, one thing that I've done a lot over the years, and is here in Edmonton we got the old Garneau Theater still plays movies every day, just about. And I can't tell you how many times I've been there. I wouldn't be surprised if it was three figures long. And they do repertory stuff. And actually, Cineplex Odeon started doing that quite a while ago, if I recall. But like one off. So you go Saturday, November 26th or whatever the fuck, like, and they'll do like Gone with the Wind or whatever. I love that repertory shit. I remember taking my kids to see like Rope by Hitchcock, and they didn't hate it. Um, Pretty much every year, maybe we'll do it this year. I go see Die Hard at the theater at Metro.
What at Garno or at the
Yeah, they call it, okay, yeah, just so we're clear. I always just say Garno, but they call it Metro Cinema now. It's kind of a
yeah,
community.
yeah, no, but I know exactly what you're talking about
Yeah, and
because I went there. I actually went there to go see the movie The Pig. Um, that was the one that Nick Cage did. That was about the pig. It never went in normal theaters. It just
yeah,
went there and then to streaming.
yeah,
And I went there and it was sold out, but it was a pretty
it
cool
was
movie.
sold out.
It was sold out. He had two showings and it was sold out for both of them. And if you haven't seen it, you should. It's a very deep movie.
I'm happy for the people at Garneau that it was, or Metro, that it was sold out. Because I like to support them because I like to watch those old movies. I was literally there either 2 or 3 weeks ago with my daughter and her boyfriend to watch the Mission Scheme. And it's already streaming, but I didn't care. I wanted to see it at the theater. I wanted to sort of inculcate in my kids like that history and tradition. I remember when I was in university, we used to go there and watch Rocky Horror like at midnight, and everybody would have the props. I wasn't a nerd like you about that, so I didn't have toast or whatever they throw in.
Yeah.
But it was always a party, and they serve liquor now. So anybody on campus who want a night out, check out Metro Cinema, which is literally Garneau Theater. And if I have anything bad to say is I don't like the gender neutral bathrooms when there's like stand up urinals. Um, and some of their stuff can be political. Like I'm just here to see a movie. I don't need you to tell me how. A screening of Die Hard is an example of an American um,
But but they
exception or whatever.
but they play a lot of a lot of stuff that doesn't make it to any other
Yeah,
theater too. They've done
yeah.
it for years because actually like we talked about the fact that I'm part of MPW, so much pro wrestling, and a bunch of the guys from MPW were part of this thing. It's called a death tour where they actually toured northern Manitoba wrestling in some of these indigenous communities in the winter, so they're driving on ice roads, like there's no actual roads. They're driving on rivers, and lakes, and stuff.
Or like up
And
by
they're going to,
Costco.
yeah, like up north there, where it's just the reserves and all that kind of stuff. And the reason why they call it the death tour is they usually go during during the winter, which is it's horrible to say, but it's a high um, suicide rate up there because there's it's horrible. But
And you know what? You're like
they
the
did
only show in town then too, because there's nothing else going
yeah.
on. So good for them.
So they do this. So there was a documentary, and it involved I think it was Chris Jericho. He was one of the producers of it, and it hasn't made it to any other theater, but they do it in special thing, and they've done across Canada, and it's a really cool place to see stuff like that. I
Yeah.
went there to see a documentary about um someone I can't remember. They served beer, so I was drinking. Um,
Not vodka, I hope.
not vodka, no, no, no beer, but
Just to piggyback on that, like Like I said, I had maybe selfish motivation. I want to, I'm like it was good for me. It's good for my kids, and my kids still go there time to time. I take them time to time. Um, but like they do, and yeah, the whatever bag I mentioned, the good far outweighs it. It's an old style. It's an old style movie theater. You don't see those much anymore, and you're lucky if
No,
you get to. And yeah, like Jimmy says, like some of the stuff that you see at film festivals and say Cannes or Toronto or whatever, um, that doesn't get signed by like a major distributor or like movie company. Um, you're, you're you're likely gonna at least get a shot to see it from time to time. And if your parents have younger kids, um, they have like Saturday morning cartoons where you wear your pajamas and they have free, I think it's free cereal, I recall. So a lot of good to be said about that joint. Garno Theater slash Metro Cinema. Pretty prominent online, and you can see what they're playing day to day, week to week.
yeah, it's a great place to go, and I've seen some stuff there and all that kind of stuff. I've seen a couple of events, and it's cool. It does feel like a theater, like almost like to the same like you and I we grew up. Like I saw movies like there used to be a movie theater in Tabor, uh, like and I saw Return of the Jedi there, and I saw E.T. there when I was a kid. And then they shortly thereafter they closed down the theater. It wasn't my fault, but it was bought out by somebody else. But yeah, it is it is cool to go to an old style theater. And that's
I love that
exactly
shit.
what Metro is.
I had a funny story about that. Um, they were playing Goodfellas there. And Goodfellas is one of my favorite movies of all time. In fact, I didn't mention I picked me up a new Goodfellas T-shirt, and it's like it's De Niro smoking, and then there's like text, kind of like in the style of cigarette smoke, and it says, "Never rat on your friends and always keep your mouth shut." It's a prominent line from that movie. And what made me think of that is you were talking about you were 3 when Star Wars hit cinemas, and my mom was Godfather's. I love the gangster genre, so Godfather came out in '72. My mom always mentions that she was pregnant with me when they went to see it. So I'm like, nice. Anyways, um, uh, where was I going with this? I just
I
got
don't know. You
really.
were a kid and you went to a theater and it was the same theater that you
Oh,
once
sorry,
saw.
the good times. It was the good times. So, I had a good friend. I'm not going to mention his name because the story doesn't necessarily reflect well on him. But Goodfellas was playing at Garneau, and Andrew and I and he and his girlfriend were talking about, hey, we gotta go, like let's dress up like gangsters, and you can choose. That's a broad spectrum, uh, and uh, and we'll go for Italian, and then we'll go see Goodfellas at Garneau. So we get the unanimous okay, and basically I wore like Henry Hill in prison Adidas tracksuit, white beater, uh, necklace like the one I got from the I had this, a white beater, and Adidas tracksuit, dress socks, and Adidas flip flops. So, I mean, that's straight from Goodfellas, the prison scene. Okay, fellas, let's eat. That scene. And, anyways, we go to uh, we go to a popular Italian restaurant. I'm not going to name it. We've done enough promoting tonight, Jimmy. Who cares? But and my buddy's girlfriend was in the habit of showing up late or taking too long to get there. So I'm wearing my Goodfellas business, and like, oh, I also had like big sunglasses and a pinky ring. I mean, I did it perfect. And we're at this nice homestyle Italian restaurant, and my buddy's late. So we're waiting, we're waiting, and people are walking by, and I'm sitting there looking like a wannabe gangster from the '80s, and people are walking by. They were about 20 minutes late. Here's the worst part: they didn't dress up. They did not dress up, and so I went through all the trouble. Not that it mattered because Andrew and I went and saw the movie anyway without them. But I don't know. Maybe I thought that story was funnier, but
No, it is funny. Kind of reminded me of a story of when Star Wars Episode 3 came out.
oh, everything reminds you of Star Wars.
No, no,
Just
but
kidding.
dude, when it came out, I was in Nova Scotia, and I was there, and I went to go see Star Wars Episode 3. It was on the second day, and there was people lined up outside the theater to go in there, and we drove by, and we went in and we bought tickets. And then when we bought the tickets, we're like, "Oh, dude, we're going to this. We got to dress up a bit because there was people like there was people standing in line, dressed as Star Wars characters and all this kind of stuff. Kind of the same kind of story as what you had there. But so me and my buddy, I think it was Lowell, we're both midgets, and so we went to Toys R Us and bought lightsabers. And so then we went back and stood in line.
What
And
year? What year is this?
90, no, what year was, episode 3? That should have been 2003.
Oh, okay.
No, it might not have been episode 3. It was episode 2. Uh,
Oh, it doesn't matter.
but it
Don't,
doesn't
don't,
matter.
don't worry.
Um,
Yeah.
but the thing is, so we went and we stood in line. We both had masks on. I had a Vader mask. He had a Yoda mask. We both had lightsabers, and we were standing in line, sword fighting with each other. And then with the other nerds that were in the line, it turned into like a free for all. Like we were all sword fighting. So it was me and all these different like random people who had no idea who we were, just sword fighting. It was so much fun. I think it was 2002, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but yeah, and it was episode 2.
Wow. Like it didn't lead to any other untoward activity. Like there was no.
It happens. When midgets start sword fighting and people get involved, wouldn't you?
Hey,
But
there's a lot
you
of
know what?
guys. There's a lot of guys that got brain that I don't mean in the head.
True. There's, but also for some of those guys, you know, sword fighting with two midgets is probably a fetish for them. Um, because there
Yeah,
is there is people that are into that.
not for
But
nothing.
not for nothing. But you know what? I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually. I think we're
I
gonna
have
end.
I have a picture. I wanted. I think I'm gonna. This is the first time I'm doing this. I'm gonna try and do it. Uh, when I was talking about the, because I feel like I let you down. There wasn't really much of a punchline with the whole waiting around for Buddy at Garneau piece. But we ought to share more media on this podcast. So I'm gonna give it a shot. I know where the picture is, and oh, there it is. I'm gonna do this. That's the picture. I don't know what you're seeing, Jimmy, but that was me with
I
the
don't know
glasses.
if it's actually showing up on the screen, but if
I
not,
guess we'll find out after. It doesn't matter. That's
but
Andrea.
you can send me the picture.
Yeah, yeah, we can
If
do it.
it didn't show up with you sending it here, I will post it.
Yeah. So, um, one last thing that I should probably mention is our buddy Serge that came up last weekend or like 10 days ago from Vancouver. He said, "Yeah, I'm gonna listen to your podcast. So this is for you, Serge. We waited till the end. So you got to watch the whole thing. I know you can fast forward. I'm just going to say we mentioned you on the cast.
Hey, that's what we do as friends. Is we mention our friends at the end of the podcast, so you have to listen all the way through to figure out that we actually said something. And
Oh, you mentioned me? When? Oh, somewhere around the
oh,
middle. I don't know.
and and just so you know, sirs, we actually mentioned uh, Sherbrooke Pub right at the very beginning because they're more important than you are. So,
Yeah, they give us beer.
yes, exactly. But let's just, so this was the test live on location for the Bald and Short of It podcast. He's
Okay,
bald.
just wait,
I'm
just
short.
wait, just wait. You can do your
Okay.
little outro
Okay. No,
again.
no, no.
We'd be remiss again if we didn't thank the good people at Sherbrooke, Janet
Oh,
and her team.
100%. Oh, we love Sherbrooke Pub. We need to thank Sherbrooke Pub for letting us, try this out here. And, we love this place. And here's the Sherbrooke Pub. Cheers
Cheers
also
up the
to
pub.
the beer because we've got, oh,
No, I can't get me and you.
uh,
There you go.
dude, you
Cheers.
realize that we're both on this. We both have our own cameras, so we could actually cheers on
Yeah,
camera, the
but
same as
you
we
need
do
to
at
know how
home.
close we are. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers, Leopard.
But yes, this was the Bald and Short of It podcast, live on location at Sherbrooke Liquor, Sherbrooke Pub. We're drinking liquor. They're totally two different companies. But yes, it's Sherbrooke Pub. This is the Bald and Short of It podcast. I'm short. He's bald. Show your head. You have to at least show your head once in this
Oh.
place. There, okay, and he's bald. I'm short,
All right, love you,
and we're
brother.
both drinking.